Hi again, my name is Lee Miller. I hang out with Mr. Erwin Podhazer, and we're doing a little bit of Faith That Travels. I'm from Texas, and uh, Erwin being from Florida, looks like he's on the beach there.
Well,
Uh,
I'm doing a strategy meeting down here. I want to make sure that the locations we're going to be going to are up to standard, and so
yeah, there you go. Well, I'm doing a little bit of travel, doing U.S. Open in Pennsylvania, and Melissa McKelvin, our other cohort, and I wouldn't say crime, but in ministry. How's that? Is joining us from. Are you in Tyler, Texas? I assume today. Very good. Matter of fact, her husband David is on this little trip with me, so we're good to have him. So. We're going to jump right on into this because we're not going to try to keep you too long. We're glad you've joined us. And so, Erwin Podhazer, we met by, I don't know, accident or was that a God thing? I think that
oh, it's always a God thing. It was 15 years ago, and you immediately put me to work
15
till 2 a.m.
years
in
ago.
the morning.
That's right. We kind of wandered into each other's National Religious Broadcasters Convention in Nashville, Tennessee, when he goes, "Hey, do you need some help?" And little did he realize that we were loading a production trailer out back with all of the equipment in the room. But I think we stayed till what, 2 in the morning or something crazy like that. And
Yeah.
that's how I got to know Erwin. And the rest is history. We've been involved in many projects since then. And and if you don't mind, we'll just jump right on into it. I'm just going to kind of ask you questions. And back probably a couple of years ago, you brought up this idea to me about travel, and you've been putting together trips for quite some time already. And said, hey, we need to start a travel agency. And I said, okay, sure, I'm in. And Faith That Travels was born, and here we are. We're getting ready for some of our first major trips, although you do have one to the Mediterranean that's already sold, locked up, and ready to go. But we've got our two trips coming up that we have wide open. But go ahead and tell us briefly what is the Faith That Travels mission? Why are we doing this?
All right. Well, first of all, yeah, we're a travel agency, but it's more of a travel ministry. First of all, this is not my day job. I have a day job. I work on this at night. I work on this on the weekend. And, for those of you that know, I come from a youth pastor background. I used to do mission trips. I always ask God, if you have an opportunity for me to get back in the ministry and to do the things that I love to do and that you have given me the talent to do, let's do it. And I mean, it's a long story, so I'm not going to tell it all here, but the idea of this is to marry going on vacation with doing good, with doing something for God. Not everyone can do a mission trip. I'm looking at the attendee list. There are people on this attendee list that have actually gone on full-blown mission trips with me. Not everyone can do that. But you know what? If we can take a vacation and then do something good with it, that is the vision here, is that rather than just a regular trip, we're changing lives through travel.
Okay. I was going to do this before we started. I wanted to set this up that we are not asking you to join a travel club. We're not asking you to join an MLM or anything goofy like that, that sometimes you get invited to these Zoom calls. We're just doing this, just tell you what we're doing, and would love for you to get involved in some of our trips. So there's a
And
lot of
really, and we'll explain later, there's a lot of things you can do to help this ministry grow without even going on a trip. And that'll be towards the end. I'll explain that.
So you talked about, Christian trips, cruises out there, what really makes this different? There's some of the big ones out there that, Family Life Today puts on, and those guys, they rent an entire boat. What makes this different?
Okay, so first of all, again, for those that are on the call that remember the times when I was a youth pastor, 90% of our youth group were kids who didn't go to church. And a lot of times in the church world, we kind of live within four walls. We have our church camps, we have our church cruises, we have our church this, we have this, Christian that. And look, I'm not saying that those things are bad. I'm not saying if you're booked on one of these things that you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying we're going to be different because we're not about creating Christian cruises. We're about being Christians on a cruise. It's about not living within the four walls. It's about being part of the world and letting our light shine, doing something that changes lives and letting other people see that it changes lives. So, no, if you want to go on a cruise, spend a lot more money and just to be around the biggest and hottest band or the best speakers that they're paying $50,000 for, that's not our strategy. Our strategy is to take a regular cruise, fill it with people who have a vision to take their vacation to do something good with it and to be a light in that cruise. So again, it's not about going on a Christian cruise or a Christian vacation. It's about being a Christian on a cruise or being a Christian in on a vacation. So my vision is not to take over an entire boat. My vision would be that if there are 5,000 people that are on the cruise, 2,000 of them are from the church. And that gives you an opportunity to be a light to 3,000 other people. It's an opportunity for them to say, hey, what is this faith that travels? Y'all are wearing this t-shirt. Oh, hey, yeah, we're supporting this ministry down in Honduras that provides shoes, and we're going to get into that. Or we're bringing a bunch of backpacks filled with school supplies to an orphanage in Dominican Republic. And so that we have an opportunity to get out of the four walls of the church and to let God's light and God's love shine to others.
You know, I I witnessed some of the most bizarre things when I hung out with Erwin Podhazer. He said, "Hey, join me on this meeting with this cruise line sales director," and we've done that with multiple cruise line sales directors. And I was just shocked when they said, "Oh, sure, we'll partner with you in ministry." I'm like, "How did that happen?" And
I
it's
yeah. We're partnering right now mostly with MSC Cruises, which we'll tell you about that coming up, and then NCL Norwegian, which is who we're using for the Mediterranean in a couple of weeks, and who we're going to use for 2000 December 2026. They actually are donating $100 per cabin towards the charity of our choice.
Okay, and I'm going to move on. I've got this agenda that Erwin has done for me. It is right at 3 hours long. Uh, so I'm going to be
No, it
sure.
is not. We're already through one third of it.
But I want to move on if I can. And shall we share a video?
Yeah, so we're going to like we said, it's about sponsoring ministry and one of our key partners in the ministry for the Christmas cruise and the New Year's cruise, which we'll tell you a little bit about, is Buckner International. And so Lee, I'm going to hand it over to you to talk about Buckner and to show a video.
Let's just get started with the video. Here we go.
We're at a home of Doña Maria Elena and her four precious girls and her husband. And this is really what Buckner's work is all about.
Dulce received the 3 millionth pair of shoes for Buckner, and that's actually why Dr. Reyes was going to visit the family.
Después de esos zapatos, me imaginé un montón de cosas, creí que solo los zapatillos iban a... Pero no, había mucho más bendiciones.
We had some folks with us, some donors that were visiting.
As we started going up the hill, I kept looking for a house. Closer to the top of the hill, I realized what I was looking at was what they were calling their house. And the dad was outside and he was drunk. But when we went inside the house, that's when my heart just sank. The pig lived in the house, the chicken lived in the house. They all slept in one bed. It was just unbelievable.
We got down off the car and the first request was, would you pray for us? Maria Elena said, I have 3 requests.
What she's asked for us to pray about is that she could learn to read the Bible.
Then she said, would you also pray for our housing situation?
Maria Elena and her family was going to be evicted from the property they were on in 3 weeks. My friend Dana said, Debbie, I don't think we can wait. And I said, okay, what are we going to do? And she said, we've got to raise this money.
So then 3 days later, we received news that the funds were raised to buy property and build a new house. I've asked the girls, what's it like now living here than where you were before? And the number one thing the girls said was, we have stability now. We know where we live, we feel safe. There's hope. There's the belief and the feeling they can be somebody. The third prayer request, she said, would you pray for my husband, who was really having trouble with alcohol and just not being the kind of dad he should be.
Qué bendiciones he recibido. Si le pudiera contar no tendría fin, ¿verdad? Muchas bendiciones. Quiero decir, una porque Dios también cambió a mi esposo.
What was the biggest surprise to me and the little faith I had was that the father agreed to go to rehab.
He came to know the Lord. He was baptized and discipled by men of the local church.
I knew they would get a new house, but more important than a new house is a new dad.
Todos los días cuando me levantaba me ponía de rodillas, miraba para el cielo y lloraba porque estaba en la orilla de un barranco y de saber de que Dios, de estos zapatillos, nos sacaron de ahí, de ese barranco. Despierto así, viendo, dándole gracias a Dios todos los días.
Lee, you're on mute still.
Yep, hit the right button. There you go. And it wants to confirm that I am speaking English. Okay, because it heard the Spanish there. So I want to bring up Sean Spurrier with Buckner. And obviously, folks, Buckner is who we are partnering with for this year, for New Year's and our Christmas cruises. And so I'm going to introduce you to Sean. And Sean, tell us a little bit about Buckner International and specifically how Shoes for Orphan Souls is changing lives.
Yeah, well, first off, just want to say thank you for having us here. It's always a joy to just get to talk about what the Lord is doing and the small role that we get to play in it. And so, again, my name is Sean Spurrier. I'm the director of Buckner Shoes for Orphan Souls. Buckner Shoes for Orphan Souls is the largest humanitarian aid project of Buckner International. Just a little bit about Buckner International because I've only got a couple minutes here, but Buckner International is a faith-based ministry based in Dallas, Texas. We have been serving vulnerable children, orphans, and seniors since 1879. Our mission is to follow the example of Jesus by serving vulnerable children, families, and seniors. And that looks a lot of ways. In the state of Texas, we're working in foster care and adoption. We have programs that are residential programs for moms and single parents who are coming out of poverty, who need a safe place to raise their kids while they're receiving education and achieving sustainability. We have family hope centers in the state of Texas and throughout the world, in Latin America and in Africa, where again, we've got a contextualized program where we are serving families, helping meet their needs, but also helping them achieve sustainability. And then one of the ways that we kind of connect to all of those things is through Buckner Shoes for Orphan Souls, which is where I get to serve. Lee, we sent over a handful of videos that were in a pack of resources. Lee chose one of my favorite stories. The story of Dulce is it's one of those stories that reminds me of why I do what I do, why I get up every day and engage with believers and churches and businesses and organizations across the country to provide new shoes. It's a very small thing, but as you can see in that video, it's a small gift that can lead to a whole lot of transformation in the lives of children and families throughout the world. So just a quick overview of why shoes, why we engage in this way. So the kind of the 3 or 4 main deliverables that a pair of shoes can provide, the gift of shoes can provide, are health, education, hope, and opportunity. So in many of the countries that we work in throughout the world, there are footborne illnesses that children are susceptible to contracting through their feet. They get cuts or scrapes on their feet, and they're walking to school or to get water or playing games outside barefoot. They're risking disease by doing that. And so providing shoes, a good sturdy new pair of shoes is one way to promote health. Many of the countries we work in, especially in Africa, there are diseases. One is jiggers, which can be pretty catastrophic. Another is called podoconiosis, which is also pretty catastrophic. And there's also big social things that happen when children have those diseases. They're kind of kept out from a lot of society. And so we're promoting health through the gift of shoes. The second is education. Many of the countries we work in, children can't go to school at all if they don't have a pair of shoes. And those are areas where education is vital to their rising above poverty. And so the gift of shoes is one of those things that enables children to receive the education they need for their families to continue to achieve sustainability in the long term. One of the first trips I went on with Buckner back in 2013 or 2014, when I started, we encountered a family who had twin sons, and they had one pair of shoes between the two, and they had to choose which child they would send to school on which day, because they only had one pair of shoes between the two of them. And so providing the gift of shoes allowed both of those children to go and receive the education that they needed. And then hope, it's a moment of us being able to express that God loves a child, that they're cared for, that they're not forgotten. It's a hopeful moment when we get to sit in front of a kid, wash their feet, place a new pair of shoes on them, and just express the love of Christ to them in a very tangible way. And then finally, opportunity. I told you about, the Family Hope Center programs. Many opportunities, many of the ministry opportunities that Buckner has globally. That pair of shoes is often the first touch point to introduce families to those programs. And you see that in Dulce's story that we just watched. They came to receive a pair of shoes for their children, and that pink and white pair of shoes that Dulce was holding up, that was the gateway to the whole story that you just heard. They came to receive a pair of shoes. And in the long run, our team and our local volunteers were able to come alongside the family and help them achieve a higher state of sustainability for their family, both economically in their education, and then most importantly, the hope that comes from having a dad who is healthy and who is believing and who is present in the home. And so, everybody, when they go to work, every once in a while you go, what am I doing here? You get everything kind of becomes run of the mill from time to time. And I even have those moments. As great as my role is and as much fun as I have those moments sometimes. And then I see Dulce's story, or many like that I've experienced in the countries that we work in, and realize that it's in its own small way, the gift of shoes is really providing a world of hope for children all over the world. I'll give you one quick stat, and then I'll hand it back over. But just thinking about the education thing, and just the overall need, really. I'll just go to the overall need. Most recent statistics coming from UNICEF and a few other organizations are that an estimated 300 million children throughout the world lack access to adequate footwear. And today, tens of millions of those children did not attend school because of that. And so the need is real. It's one that sometimes feels insurmountable, but it's something that we can all do. We can all be a part of. And I'm just grateful that the Erwin and Lee and Faith That Travels has invited us to come in, tell the story, and has kind of invited us into the whole process that you guys are hearing about today. So y'all, just want to say thank you. If there's any questions, I'm glad to answer those, but just grateful to be here and introduce a little bit of the work that we do.
All right, thank you. And if you do have any questions, you can put those in the Q&A, and we'll try to get to those as we do. But Erwin, go ahead and tell us. And Sean, I understand you may need to drop off to another meeting, and that's fine if you do, but you're welcome to stick around as well. So Erwin, I know that why do we as Faith That Travels support ministries like Buckner?
And how do we support them?
Well,
Yes.
yes, and how do the proceeds work and all of that sort of thing.
So again, Faith That Travels, our mission is changing lives through travel. So partnering with ministries that are doing great work like this is our goal. And so that everything we do, there's going to be built-in support. For example, the $100 that Norwegian does donate, but then we might build $100 more on our end. Every trip we take, there's going to be something built in financially to give to a charity, a ministry like Buckner. And I would love one day for us to maybe be 3 million shoes just because of us. You saw that was the 3 millionth shoe. Well, I would love to be the 6 millionth shoe. And the vision is bigger than that. The vision is, yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 people go on these trips with Faith That Travels, but I would like it to get to the point that those few thousand, which is going to start small with just a few of us, but if enough people catch this vision, I could see a time to where we do something like we have 200 people going on this cruise, but because of those 200 people promoting in their churches and so on, we're able to provide thousands upon thousands of pairs of shoes. I would like to get to the point to where the different cruise lines, they see, look, we're bringing them so much business that they will get to the point to where they're saying, we're going to let you promote this program to everyone that's going to be on that cruise. So that when people are going on the cruise, there's maybe a QR code, and every person, all 5,000 people are going to walk past that, and they'll have an opportunity to make a donation of shoes. It's going to take time to build to that. And it's going to take enough people doing this for the cruise lines and for the other vacation planners and organizations, American Airlines and so forth, to get behind that vision. But I know we can get there. So the goal is to really make an impact, to make an impact in country that we go to make an impact for ministries like Buckner. And so but it starts small. It starts with the 20 some odd people that are listening to this right now, and how many people you share this recording with. And it will start with those people as well. And that we can grow an army of people that say, look, we're going to make a difference in this world, one pair of shoes at a time, one backpack filled with school supplies at a time, one roof over one orphanage at a time. And that is where we're heading. And like I said, we're not going to be there right away, but as long as I have breath in me, I'm going to be moving in that direction and moving Faith That Travels in that direction. So let's talk about how what events we're going to be doing that are going, like I said, we're going to start small. And let's start with Lee and his sister
Yeah,
Melissa
well,
are actually
hey,
organizing the Christmas cruise. Tell
yeah,
us
well,
about the
we'll
Christmas.
talk about mine first. So,
Yeah.
anyway, my wife Killa and I, along with Melissa and her husband David, will be hosting the Christmas cruise. And I'm going to bring Melissa on board here. And Melissa, go ahead and kind of give us the lowdown on what are we doing for Christmas. And you'll have to unmute.
I unmuted.
There, did you find the?
Sean, I'm so excited because I'm a teacher, so I firmly believe in education for all children, and it just excites me to know that we can play a part in a kid's education somewhere other than where I directly live. So I'm a traveler. I love to travel, and I'm going to travel if I'm with Faith That Travels. It's even better because I'm contributing to a bigger picture, a bigger mission of what God has for us. And being a part of that, this Christmas, we put together a cruise. It's actually on the MSC Seascape. It's going to be out of Galveston, Texas. It leaves on December 21st through the 28th. It's super simple for you to get to, especially if you are in Texas. And we are going to be leaving out of Galveston. We're going to have 2 days at sea, and then we'll be in Costa Maya, Mexico, which has, if you've ever been there, it was teeny tiny and it is humongously built up and waiting for you to have lots of fun in the sun. And then we'll head on down to Honduras, which is where the shoes will be delivered. And very excited that MSC is going to orchestrate getting the shoes to the children. And if you want to take part of that in that delivery, they're going to orchestrate that for us as well. I will definitely be doing that day. And then the next day, we're going to go to Cozumel, Mexico, and that is another day of fun in the sun and lots of sand and beach and great food. And then we're going to have another day back to Galveston. So it's 7 nights, 8 days full of fun. And then you're going to participate in ministry. And because it's a Christmas cruise, we're not going to leave you out with being able to celebrate. MSC is giving us a space for a Christmas Eve service. And so we'll be putting that together and just want to celebrate the birth of Jesus and what that whole season means for us, as well as delivering those gifts to the children. It's going to be amazing.
All right, thanks, Melissa, and looking very, very forward to. Never been on a cruise at Christmas, and yes, for those that are bringing kids, they'll have presents and the normal trappings for Christmas. So you won't miss out on that. So before we tell you how to get all involved in that, Erwin, go ahead and tell us about what you have planned for New Year's Eve and New
Okay, so
Year's.
we're going to be leaving Miami shortly after you guys leave Galveston after Christmas, and we're going to be doing a New Year's cruise on the sister ship MSC Seaside. I've been on the Seascape and I've had a tour of the Seaside, both beautiful ships. Some of the best food I've ever had at sea was on the Seascape. So you guys are going to have an incredible time, and being on a ship on New Year's is amazing. There's just stuff to do all night long. You're going to have the best New Year's of your life if you've never done this. I did it a few years ago, and now we do it every year. And I will say there has been a little change in how the shoes are going to be getting to the kids. What we decided logistically, it's very difficult to for it to come on the cruise ship. So Sean and the team, they're going to be bringing a container of shoes down to Honduras, which is one of our stops. And so our donations are going to be part of that. It makes the logistics a lot easier. But we're hoping to have someone from Buckner to be on each of these cruises and maybe even at in port for us to get to touch the ministry in some way. And again, in future cruises, as we build this, bringing backpacks with school supplies and challenging other people's and getting the cruise lines to help us to do that is the ultimate goal. So whether it's for Christmas this year or New Year's, please join us. You're going to have a blast. And next New Year's, December 2026, Norwegian Cruise Line has given us 100 cabins on their newest ship, the Aqua, which has the coolest water slide ever. It's actually a coaster and a water slide combined. And we're one of the few groups that are able to have triple and quadruple occupancy because it's so rare on this ship to have that. So we're very fortunate to have that. And I do want to point out another difference between us and some other cruises. We actually, in many cases, are less expensive because we actually pass on the savings because we're not hiring a band for 50,000. We're not hiring speakers for 50,000. We actually are getting a group discount and we pass most of that on to you. In the case of the Miami cruise, we're about the same as online, but you're also going to get some special things like strawberries delivered and $25 onboard credit and $100 towards purchasing shoes for Buckner, and we're still the same prices if you went online. And for the Christmas cruise, I think like some of the cabins are 500, 600 less with us than if you went online. So that's another way we are very different from your normal Christian cruises where you have to pay for all this entertainment. You, with us, it's less and you're paying for ministry. You're supporting ministry. And for the next year's New Year's cruise, we're already like almost $1,000 less on some cabins than online because of the discounts. And the other
Well,
trips that we're going to take, and I'm just going to throw this in real quick, is vacations with a purpose, which are not. So if you're not into cruising, we have vacations with a purpose. And our first one's going to be Costa Rica, 8 days, the summer of 2026. Next summer, we'll be doing a day project where we do something with a local ministry. Maybe it's a a vacation Bible school or working with the kids, playing soccer with the kids, building a house or whatever. You're going to be staying at great resorts, but then you take a day to do something good with your vacation. Our Israel trip in a couple of years, yes, we're going to wait till the violence dies down, but it's going to be different than any other Israel trip anyone has done. Like, for example, how would you like to have breakfast with the head of Mossad or second in command of Mossad? Go plant a tree, go spend a couple hours to put together care packages for Holocaust survivors, things like that. That's how we're going to take travel, normal vacation travel, but change lives. Not just change our lives, but change other lives. Lee?
okay, well, appreciate that, Erwin. So how can you get involved in this? And unfortunately, there are some things going on in the world right now, and I'm kind of surprised Zoom is still up and kicking. But Cloudflare, one of our CDN providers, is having issues. There are several websites down, including our website that we gather email addresses and names through. I believe faiththattravels.com. I can't pull it up where I'm at here in Pennsylvania today or right now. And so faiththattravels.com. I don't know if Melissa or Erwin, if you guys are able to pull it up in your locations. But there is a
Yeah, it's
major
up.
there's a major web outage in some parts of the country, and I'm dealing with several other things with my other job here due to that. Just FYI, Israel just attacked Iran, so that's going to be interesting how that plays out in the news. So keep that in your prayers as well. So how can you get involved, and how can you learn more about this? If you'll do this for us today, for our 23 folks that are online here, if you want more information or want to kind of be on our a list that we're not going to spam you to death with, just tell you what we've got coming up, drop your email address and name in the chat. If you'll do that for us, that'll be a big help. It's not quite what I planned for today, but that'll be a good way that we can keep you informed. Many of you we do know already, and we'll keep you informed as well on our Facebook page and social media pages. But right now, you can go to faiththattravels.com and you can click on the Galveston trip, Texas or Florida, and you can see all of the pricing for the cabins that are currently available. That is all there on the website, plus a link to go ahead and click. We do ask for a deposit to save your rooms, and with final payment due on, I believe, both of these trips in August. Is that correct, Erwin?
Yeah, August is the deadline for this year's cruises. Yes.
All right, some other things that you can help us out on. Go to our Facebook page, our Instagram page, click like and share that with your friends also. Get others to share our pages. This video will be available on our Facebook page and Instagram page soon, probably within the next day. So you can share that with others. Um, we will have the email list system that's connected to our CRM up and running, hopefully very, very soon, so that you can join our email list there. But we'll put that on our your list if you guys can go ahead and drop that in the chat. At this point in time, we're going to take some questions. Also, we do have travel insurance available for folks, and we want to be sure that everybody does consider having travel insurance when they do travel, because you never know when something might happen while you're out there, and it can be pretty expensive flying you back to the United States. And some of the proceeds of our travel insurance does go to the Faith That Travels missions. But consider this ministry in your prayers. Put this on your prayer list. A lot of logistics and many, I don't know how many hours Erwin and I have spent hashing through this and getting these arrangements made.
Really quick, if you haven't liked us on Facebook or Instagram, please do that right today and invite others to do the same. Sean, thank you so much. Do you have anything to add?
Nothing to add on my part. Just grateful that y'all invited us to be here and tell a little bit of our story. If we can help with anything, please let us know.
Why don't you go ahead and close this out?
I will close us out in a quick word of prayer, if you will allow me to. So, Heavenly Father, I do want to thank you because we do live in an amazing country. We live in a country where those who are poorest among us are still considered some of the world's richest. And we are fortunate that we are able to vacation and vacation worldwide. And so I pray that you would give us an opportunity that as we take advantage of our vacations, that it's not only about us, that we're not only inwardly focused, but that through our time of relaxation, through our time of vacation, that we can also be outwardly focused. And even if the people who are listening now, and even if the people who watch this later don't ever go on a trip with us, I pray that because of the message they hear today, that it would instill in them to give back, to be part of a ministry like Buckner, to say that because we are blessed, we want to bless others that are less fortunate, that don't have as much. I'm pretty sure everyone that's listening to this has several pairs of shoes. Yet there are kids all over the world right now suffering because they can't even afford a $15 pair of shoes. And I'm thankful that you're going to give us an opportunity to make a difference in those kids' lives and in kids who are in orphanages and kids who need food and kids who need medical attention, that I pray that you would build this ministry to change those lives. And as you change those lives through us, I know that you will be changing ours as well. And we thank you and we ask all of this in your precious name. Amen. Thank you.